Hi, everybody. Welcome to Grab Your Keys. I have a very good friend of mine on Grab Your Keys today, Katie Kennedy. She is the owner of EveryHome, and she is a realtor and broker there. So, Katie, welcome to Grab Your Keys.
Thanks for having me, Sue.
So, I love everything you do at EveryHome. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about who you are, how you got into real estate, and why did you open up EveryHome?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a silly story.
Right.
I found myself as a single mom, and I was looking for a house for myself and my kids, and I only wanted one specific school district because I only wanted to live in Harleysville, and
Mm-hmm.
because the neighbors connect with a little bike path, and I had a very nice agent, but it was pre-Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, and my partner put together a program for me that would deliver Souderton School District to me every morning, which was
Okay.
what I wanted to put my kids in. So we were like, wow, I think every mom in the whole world would love this. Went and got our real estate licenses, bought EveryHome for $12 on Daddy O or whatever it is. And yeah, that was it.
My
Yeah.
daddy, big daddy, something like that.
I know. Go
Good
Daddy.
daddy. I think.
Daddy's home.
But none of us can remember what that was.
I know.
So,
It was a long time ago. That was 1999.
yeah, so that's a long time, and you've grown to multiple offices,
Yeah.
multiple states,
We're about to have
and
our third, which is very exciting.
yeah, that's super great.
Yeah.
And what makes you have a passion for real estate?
I think when I first started my business, 30% of my business was women in change, either a divorced woman, a woman buying her house without, at the time, like had to have your dad come and look at a house with you for some ridiculous reason, and or widows. And widows have a whole slew of things that back in the day they had never written a check and they
Right.
didn't know how to do all of those things. So I had a lot of great girls. And out of that, I hired a lot of great girls who I sold a house to. And then they joined us as real estate agents. And yeah, some of them are
So you
still.
were really providing a new career, a new income, a new path for
Yeah.
women, not only to have the security of a home where
Mhm.
they could build their family, but also have security of a new income that gave them some sort of flexibility
For sure. I mean,
and
I never wanted
control.
my girls to miss having their kid be a turnip, so you don't wanna miss that as a mom. I mean, the flexibility in real estate is huge as a mom.
Huge.
So you just don't miss anything, and you can't miss anything. They're little for such a short period of time, so.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So, what do you feel the three keys to success are? You've had a great career. What do you think are still continuing with a fantastic career? What do you feel your three keys to success have been?
I think, know your why. Everybody who does anything with any sort of passion should really know why they do it. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be that you want to Sherpa somebody into their new home, or it can be you're going to clean houses and you're going to make that woman who you've cleaned a house for have just a better day. I mean, know your why. And the other would be do everything with a full heart and integrity. I think you can't be in this business if you are not honest and mindful that it's very stressful. So
Hmm.
our job is to sort of just kind of get the edges off. So well, it's the finance part's the hard part. They're worried. They do it, and now they're writing a gigantic check. So yeah, I do think just smoothing the edges.
Okay. So, I think I might have missed one. Know your why, full heart, and integrity. So
Yes.
all three of those.
Mhm.
So do you let's dive into know your why a little bit. Do you think that your why can change and you can pivot based on the different stages of your life with regards to your why, or do you think your why stays the same?
Mine has not changed. Do I think it could change? Sure. I mean, you could end up finding yourself, my why's never been the money.
Mhm.
The money comes because you've done a good job and people have, spread your name around. Like the reason you do a great job. I think my why has never changed. I do think that your why can develop, maybe
Mhm.
not change totally. My why has always been, you know, I like to sell a house at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I know what the sun looks like coming in while the kids are doing their homework and having a snack. That's just like my
Mhm.
ridiculous way to sell real estate. But that always mattered so much to me. Every house I've ever lived
Mhm.
in, I have loved and bawled when I had to give it up. So, I think my why is making sure that those moments happen for that next family. But people have different whys, and it shouldn't be the same. It should be your own, you know.
Right. So you've been doing this, as I said, before Simon Sinek wrote his book, Know Your Why.
Oh yeah.
And um and I think that that was really great that that's one of the first things that you said is know your why, because I do believe that if you know your why, it makes you be able to get out of bed every day.
I agree.
Even even when you're having a bad day, or even when a deal is, I mean, we're in real estate and mortgage. Like, we know that everything is, yeah, we know everything's not going to be perfect.
Right.
We know we're really the solvers of situations. And I think that it does help when you know your why to be able to handle those, hard conversations,
Mhm.
happy days, but also the days that you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. You should see my desk.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Just, where do I start?
Yes.
And that having that sunshine, in the kitchen as the kids are getting off the bus is the is the happy moment that why you're doing what you're doing, which I love that analogy of that. When you say having a full heart, do you mean like being a servant leader? What do you mean by
Yes,
having a
for
full
sure.
heart?
Our company has always sort of led from the bottom up. Um, my unbelievably spectacular human beings that I have the privilege of working with have got us where we are now. We were 5 people for a really long time. I'm 136 agents now
Wow.
in 5 states, and they are, I, I can't say enough about them. They are stellar human beings, and I trust them, and I trust them to come to me and say, hey, people keep asking about this. Can we put it on the website? And because we write our own IT here, we can. We can turn that around, and we're not corporate, obviously, we're privately
Mhm.
held, very family oriented, and I want to hear their ideas. I want to learn from them. So everybody here that owns or it works for them. We are everything we do is for them.
That's
So
awesome.
because we don't have fees, and if they don't make money, I don't make money.
Yeah.
So
So, what are like the special things that every home does, that makes it a special place to be and it's a special place to buy?
I think that everybody here has a pretty common goal. I think our whys are pretty similar.
Mhm.
I have more boys than I used to, so their
Mhm.
whys might be a little bit different than the girls. But
Right.
I think that we all believe in hard work. We all believe in being honest. I have learned so much from these people, just as a growing leader. And I do think to be a real estate agent here, you don't have fees, and we pay the E&O, and they get 90% commission. So, stepping into it as a part-time agent is awesome. Stepping into it as a career agent is equally awesome.
Right.
So, and I am available to them 8 to 8. So I think sometimes when the commissions are high, you don't have help. I am 8 to 8 every day.
Right.
So
Right. And that gives you even though it seems like it doesn't give you flexibility, that does actually give you
oh, huge.
flexibility.
I
Yeah.
mean, I answer the phone at the pool. So yes.
And do you love what you do? So if you
I
love
love
what
it.
you do,
Yeah.
yeah. So when you love what you do and you work 8 to 8, it doesn't even seem. I answer my telephone too, and people are always like, "You're always answering your phone." Well, number one, I don't like returning telephone calls. That's not one of my highest and best things that I do well. If the phone's ringing and if I'm not in a conversation or not doing something like this, then I'm going to answer my phone because I just feel that's easier.
It's all, yeah, well, you get it off your plate, but also, people don't want to wait, especially in this industry. They've got to worry. They want to see a house. You better be available.
Right.
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about being available. I find a lot of the time people don't like to be available. And I feel like a lot of the time people like to say no, in any industry, you know,
Mhm.
and that's not something in my industry we do. I don't think it's something in your industry that you do.
Yeah.
What do you think about lately, even if you're at, I forget, I was just trying to make an appointment. And the first appointment that I made, the person was like, yeah, no. And then I was like, could you look? And they were like, oh, yeah, we can actually do that today. I
Yeah.
couldn't even imagine that going over in my business. How
No.
does that with your business?
Well, I mean, when we give a lead, the client comes through the portal in the back office,
Right.
on the website, and they generally pick a time and a day, and that's it. Like, we're not negotiating that time and day. If I have a roster of agents that want to get leads, and I hand them out accordingly, geographically or whatever, um, and we're not negotiating that time. That's not a no. That's not a no. I can't do it at that time. Yes, we are. Someone's going to do it at that time. So we just confirm the appointment. So, I don't think that we work for them. They are our customers. I think that we need to be mindful that they have time constraints as well. And, if you don't want to do it at that time as a real estate agent, don't do it. But know that I will find someone that will.
Right.
So,
Um, how does the lead thing work? How do you guys get the leads?
well,
Like,
our website actually preceded Trulia, Zillow, and Realtor.com. So in 1999, we had every real estate listing on our site behind a password, because you had to have it behind a password. And the password got legs, and got out. And, at the time, I was selling 15 houses a
right,
month myself, because there was no way to look at the entire MLS,
right.
unlike there is now. So Realtor.com came on, Zillow came on, but I believe that we are the only website still that you can search, not from the moon and come down. You can actually go like, I just want Souderton School
Yeah,
District,
I
or
love that.
just want a townhouse, and deliver them to me. So yeah. And I feel like people, when they start to drill down in some of those other sites, you lose houses that might be a house that you would consider. And because the inventory is so low, you need to spread your wings a little bit and consider some homes that maybe you wouldn't. So every home, hence the name, has every home, and you can, throw it out if it doesn't look like a house that you're interested in. But I think you start to miss some things if you go like, I only want a 4-bedroom, because maybe there's a huge extra space that you could turn into a 4th bedroom,
Right,
so
and having that imagination, and
yeah,
also having a realtor who's been trained to have that imagination, to have that eye.
exactly. Yeah, that's the
And
best part, by the way. Dropping
yeah,
balls, and oh my gosh, yeah.
yes, for sure. Okay, different, same topic kind of, but now a I think a little tenuous of a topic. What do you think about the NAR settlement going on? How is that affecting? I can't even have a conversation with a realtor such as yourself and not bring it up. I would be
I
remiss
get
in
it.
not saying something.
No, and I mean, I've been a realtor since '99. I'm reevaluating my realtor piece,
Right.
and perhaps going to just be a real estate agent, which, if you look at the rules in the commission, you can still sell houses.
So
You
what's
don't.
the difference between a realtor and a real estate agent? I think that's
Okay.
great that you said the
Okay.
two of
So a
them.
real estate agent is a licensed person who can sell real estate in the state of Pennsylvania, anywhere into the state of Pennsylvania, even commercial. You do not have to have a special license to sell commercial real estate. A realtor has joined a board of realtors. So if you think about it like a union, we've joined the union, and there are some requirements to be in the union. One of which is paying a fee. The
Mhm.
other is to abide by the new NAR rules, that are really, I think, kind of hurting people that don't have a lot of money, which makes me
I
so
agree.
sad, because first time home buyers are my favorite people. So I just feel like there's a lot of unrest, and sellers may have been told some not so great things. If you don't offer a finder's fee, that's what I'm calling it now. If you don't offer a finder's fee, there's a chance that you'll get less people through the house. And if you get people through the house, you're going to get less offers, and therefore you're going to get less money. So I would kind of make the argument that the buyer side has always been built in
Yes, for
the
sure.
sale price, because they, you get more money.
And I think it's really confusing. I mean, as a mortgage person who does this every single day,
Yeah.
I was on it. I was on it from the
I know.
jump.
I came to your class. It was amazing.
Yeah, and until we got into it, like I had no idea how crazy it was actually going to be. But I can only imagine for a buyer or a seller, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm confused sometimes, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
And you're in the
okay,
industry.
you're putting it on the agreement of sale. Who's paying for it? I need the cooperation addendum, and like things that no mortgage person would ever even know to ask for.
Or care
So
for.
if you're not using a mortgage person who's up on everything to know that there's three things really three items now that you need to ask for
Yeah.
to make sure that you're hitting everything and you're going to come to the closing with the right amount of money. It's very confusing and very difficult. I even got snagged and I thought I had everything for a deal a month ago, right when it hit. And I had an agent called me up and say, Sue, we did this totally wrong.
No.
The listing is paying 2% or 2.5%, but I'm still owed 3%, 3%. So she has to pay a half at closing. And we had already disclosed everything. So I had to go back to her and be like, there's a 0.5% that's not on here.
Oh, no.
That we have to charge because you have a buyer agency agreement signed. You also have an agreement of sale signed, and you also have a cooperative listing signed. And it was from a co-op that is saying that they're not doing co-ops. So it was super confusing. So
No.
I
So
think
it does not fall under your I forget what it's called, like error.
Sure. Yeah. So that guidance hasn't been given to mortgage people yet. We're just flying pretty much by the seat of our pants. I would say, because I don't think
I agree.
the mortgage bankers hasn't come out and they've come out and said you can increase the seller contribution, but they haven't come out and said what the tolerance is. So there's tolerance for some, zero tolerance for some on our fee sheet. There's a 10% tolerance for title fees.
Right.
But
not for commission.
But now we're just adding it to we added to for capital contribution. Like they haven't come out and said it.
Yeah.
And why would that be? Like the mortgage person's responsibility. And I feel like it's really the realtor's responsibility to tell us
without a doubt
what it is, instead of us flying free by the seat of our pants and possibly making an error. And it might, especially for first-time home buyers, it's so sad and ridiculous that it's going to be costing them possibly more money in this situation.
Well, and then they go through all the classes and they do the PHFA or they do whatever it is, and they think they're going to have this little pile of money, which is amazing, to do their closing costs, and then 10,000 of the 17,000, I'm making that number up, but 10,000, 17,000, they're giving to a realtor. And I'm not saying that we don't deserve it, because I think maybe we do, but I think, it's just sad for them.
And it is already built into all the prices. Like you can't say, on August 17th, prices, decreased by 2.5% or 3%. That is not what's going to happen.
Not yet, but it might.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, but maybe. Okay. Very good conversation with that. So I love that entertainment.
We'll always call you if we have some issues on commission. I promise.
Yeah, thank you. We know how to build it in, and we know how to make it be. Yeah. I just really want to be beneficial to the buyer. Yes. I really want to help, especially those first-time home buyers. I mean, the houses are already so expensive in our area, but we can't get into anything for less than $300,000 in this area at all, and that's difficult sometimes for a first-time home buyer, or even a couple that is on a fixed income.
Sure.
I mean, we're seeing a lot of that right now.
Yeah.
And, they don't want to use all their money from the sale of their house, and they have a fixed income and they want to buy something last, and there's really not that many places for them to go. So they're staying in their big houses with big maintenance issues, and that's, hurting them, and they're not really able to even care for themselves when they have the steps and everything else. So it is
Yeah,
a
it's
situation
compressed.
in our area that we're really need to try to manage.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So who do you admire, Katie?
I would say, and she's not with me anymore, but I would say probably my mama.
Yeah.
Um, she was quietly strong. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yes, of course.
She never was confrontationally strong. She was always just sort of in the background, supporting us, making sure that we believed in ourselves. Um, Even when we didn't, she did. I think she also taught me a really valuable lesson that you can only affect who a very small portion of the people around you. So she would liken it to like throw a pebble in a pond, and you have
Hmm.
the first circle. So those are your own babies, your birth
Yes.
babies, or your adopted babies, or your fur babies, or whatever babies you have, and your partner, and then you have your extended family, and then you have the people that make you who you are. And if everybody did that, the whole world would be taken care of, and we wouldn't be worried about world craziness because everybody would have taken care of their little pond.
Yeah.
So she taught me that. And, there's a lot of things that you have to let go of. I feel like the older I get, maybe the more I get to let go of stuff. And I do think that I can affect a very small amount of humans. And I would like to think that she gave me that and I can give them that. You know,
Yeah, that is amazing. I actually love the pond analogy and everything that you said, and I do agree with you because I admire you at a lot because you
I
do an
nice
amazing
to meet
time.
you.
You do amazing. I watched you with your on Facebook and in person with your children and with your grandchildren. And I just have so much admiration that you really do take care of that pond. So if your
I
mama
did
taught you that, that's an amazing thing. And you really do
not
pave
teach
it
me to cook.
forward.
That she didn't do. She did not teach me to cook, but she did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that analogy. I'm going to use that analogy because
Do please. I would love that.
I love that. And I love that you said fur babies too, because we love our fur babies.
Yeah, of course.
So, if you were going to be in any other profession besides real estate and being an
Besides ballet dancer,
investor
because
in
that's
real
what I thought
estate,
I was going to be.
mhm, what would you be?
Um, I think I love architecture. I'm terrible at math, so I don't think that I could actually be an architect, but I would love to do town planning. I
Oh yeah,
think town planning would be so fun. I think sometimes what happens, town planning for um, people over 55 gets done really well. Town planning for people with children does not. We have an office in Skippack. I love Skippack. It's the cutest little town, but there's not a lot for kids there.
right.
There's one playground and they don't, I'm in the small business association and I'm always like, what are we doing for the kids? So people who have little kids don't have a lot of money sometimes because they're expensive. And so you're going to do like, okay, well, where can we go with the kids where they can be outside and we can still have some adult time? So, but they don't do that very well. I don't feel like they do it really well in Europe. I don't think that they do it really well in America.
So I was just reading an article. Funny you say that. I was reading an article this morning. I don't, and you probably already know this, but Elon Musk is moving one of his companies to a place in Texas, not Austin. I think Tesla is in Austin,
Mhm.
but he bought or he's moving it to someplace else. I don't remember the name of it. And I read that he's doing this so that the company that's going to be there, he is going to be building houses for his employees. So
I
it's an
love
employee work, big development.
that. Mhm.
So, and it will be a town
Yeah.
that not only do you work together, but you live amongst each other. And he will hopefully build houses, I guess, affordable housing or something in this Texas town. And he decided to do it in this town instead of Austin because Austin's already so built up anyway that he decided
I love
begins with
that.
a D. And I just thought that that was so forward thinking
It
to
is.
say, like, how can we give our employees, I mean, he has a lot of employees.
He
How
does.
can we give all of our employees the best type of life, make them want to work with us and for us? And what better way than, having this development. It's going to be an employee work development is the way that they said that they were structuring it. And I said, thought to myself, how great, but how many other companies are going to be so forward thinking to think that way? And
Yeah.
and how come just him now?
I know. Well, you know what? Here's interesting. So I grew up, my dad was in the service. So I was in England when I was a little girl, and we had a little village, and everybody knew each other. Nobody left. There were very few cars. Everyone walked to work, and everybody went to one of two pubs and then went for Sunday roast at one of the restaurants. So, but that was it. Like, there was a little pond so you could go and fish and that kind of stuff. But, America grew up that way. Like, all of, like, anything near a train station, there was a factory or something where, all the men worked and the girls got to stay home with their kids, and the boys would stop Friday with their paycheck and have a beer and then go home. And I mean, that is the way little towns in America grew up, around an industry, because otherwise they were farmers, So I think he's bringing it back. That's pretty cool.
That would be great, because I guess you're totally right. It got away from us.
It got away from us.
And, he's bringing it full circle. So I think that's, amazing. But I think the architecture and the city plan, like that planning, would be super cool for you, and you would probably love it. So you would have been great at that.
Did you ever see the movie La Fortuna?
No.
Oh, you should look at it. That's my ideal space.
La Fortuna.
La Fortuna.
La Fortuna.
La Fortuna, but it's so good.
Okay, La Fortuna. I'm writing it down. There you have it. So what piece of advice do you use all the time?
A couple, actually. Again, do it with a full heart. If you're not going to do it with a full heart, it makes every day difficult, and there's a great analogy, wash the dishes, not because the dishes are dirty, but wash the dishes because the people that you love are going to eat from them, So I think to serve your God, to serve your family, to serve your community, whatever it is. I think those things are so unbelievably important. And I would say the funniest thing would be next, because sometimes you need to say next, whatever it is. Sometimes you've been in a business for 10 years and you're cooked. I used to be a nurse, cooked. You have to take care of yourself and still be excited about everything that you do. So sometimes next is the best thing, and it's scary. Next is
scary. Next is scary, but
you did it with your company, and your life is better. I hope
it is better, but it's scary, and you have to listen to that little voice inside you that just says, you're gonna be okay, and you're gonna actually be better on the other side of this, but you need to walk through that door because it's the right thing to do. And sometimes doing the right thing is difficult. I mean, it's part of that integrity that you spoke about. And anyone who knows, someone who has a strong sense of integrity, which I hope a lot of us have, you really do need to listen to what's true to yourself. And be solid in that. What's next? What's in the future for Katie?
Well, we've got some people who would like us to open an EveryHome in Florida, so we might be doing that. Yeah, that would be kind of fun. I have a sister that's in Texas, so I think if we were going to grow somewhere, we'd probably do Florida and Texas next. Next for me personally, I'm looking to grow in this area with agents that maybe don't want to be realtors anymore. You can be a real estate agent here, which means doesn't cost you anything to be here. Nothing. We pay your, so you don't have realtor dues. You don't have, you can join Bright without being a realtor, which is really unique of that MLS. Yeah, I mean, I'm all about kind of do it and on the side. I mean, I'm here to support you. Don't quit your day job, because I think it's hard now, job, you need your day job, so I love part-timers. I know a lot of agencies don't. So
Well, I love that. And I love everything that you do. I think Florida and Texas would be amazing because I'm licensed in both of those states.
Nice. Okay.
Yes, so I do a good amount of business in both of them, and I, love working with you and your team. All the people you have are amazing. And
You are
Katie, if
truly
anyone wants to get in touch with you, we're going to put all your information below.
great.
So, and I appreciate your time today. You've been very insightful. As you know, I always love working with you and
I
seeing
know.
you.
I owe you lunch.
You don't. Okay, well, I will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Like and share if you think that this was a great podcast. Have a great day. See you next time on Grab Your Keys.